Hi, my name is Jim Bala. I'm the tech service guy here at Buyers Products. Today's video, we're going to do an install on our DumperDoggs. But before we go any further, we're in the shop today. A little noisy. It's manufactured right here, so that's why we're doing the video inside. Also, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, become part of that Snow Dog family. Also, the DumperDoggs come in two different sizes, 6-foot mild steel stainless, 8-foot mild steel stainless, and then we also have a poly DumperDogg that's 8 foot long. So now let's look at the DumperDogg and see how it comes in. All right, so here's the DumperDogg we'll be installing today. It's our 6-foot steel DumperDogg, and this is how it comes. We got some shrink wrap on the outside, protect the edges in shipping. Also, it's bolted to the skid for safety. Then also you might notice that there's some brown boxes inside. Those are our wonderful accessories we have for the DumperDogg that are sold separately. So what we have of the three accessories is we have this side brackets, so you can protect our edges. We also have the tarp. Of course, you got to tarp your bundle as you go down the street. And also, we have the cab guard that protects your back window of your truck when people are loading stuff. So that keeps that protected. Also above here, there's a video. Please click on, and it'll show you the installation of all of our accessories. Now I'm going to put the accessories on, and then we're going to get back to installing the DumperDogg video. All right, now that we got all the accessories installed, make sure you check out the video I shared with you before. So we have the side extensions, the window protector, and then the tarp. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wire up the truck and get this DumperDogg installed. But first, you do it first or second, it's up to you, but we got to take the tailgate off. Okay? So the tailgate, of course this is a 6-foot bed, we're putting a 6-foot dumper in. What we want to do is check out the situation. Now this one here has a wire that goes into the tailgate, so you're going to have to pop this off and then also pop off the wire brackets or wire, what do you want to call them, linkages that help with the tailgate. Also, each truck is different. So make sure you go to the manufacturer, maybe owner's manual just to see how to take the tailgate off. Another option is, of course, YouTube's a fantastic site to show some of these videos of each manufacturer and how to take the tailgate off. So now let's go in front and we're going to start wiring up this DumperDogg. All right, so this is the hardware kit and wiring kit for the DumperDogg. Of course, it comes with installation instructions. Also, what we have is our power wire that goes to the circuit breaker, but then we have our main power wire that goes from the engine compartment all the way back to the DumperDogg. And then we have our bagged hardware kit. Then the other item we have here is our brackets that we might use or might not use, but once we go under the truck, we'll see if we need them. As you see, there's another situation if we don't find a cross member underneath the truck. We can use these brackets, different type of ways, but we'll talk about this later. But in the hardware kit, you got the bolts for the install. There's our circuit breaker. Then also we have a body up switch that we have to install, and that'll be done a little bit later. A body up switch is to make sure a light will come into the cab on the dashboard. It's to let you know that your DumperDogg's up in the air or it's down. So it'll come that. So, and that's about it. The rest of it's bolts and chains. We'll get to this later. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop the hood and we're going to start wiring this up and we're going to go from there. All right, so now we're in the engine compartment now, and what we're going to do is we're going to hook our power wire up, which is a small red wire, and we're going to hook this up to the circuit breaker, and then from the circuit breaker we're going to hook up the positive red so it feeds down. Also, then we have the red and black wire on here. That's going to go to ground, which is this little stud in the fender wall. A lot of companies now, manufacturers don't want you to go directly to the battery with the ground. So there's a ground stud on the fender, which we're going to use. So what I'm going to do is just run from positive to the circuit breaker, and then from the circuit breaker, we're going to run this harness back to the truck of where the DumperDogg is going to be. Put the positive on the battery, and I'm putting the positive on the circuit breaker. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the circuit breaker tripped. This way the power is not going to run through in case we ground it out or something. So there that is, and then I'm going to run the red wire here to the other side. Of course, then I'm going to mount it, but you know, there's a bunch of ways you can mount it, places to mount it. So then I'm just going to take the red with the black, which is ground, and I'm going to mount it to this stud right here. So then we're going to run the wire in the back. All right, so I got it all hooked up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start feeding it to the back of the truck. Again, you try to make it routing so it looks nice. And we're going to route it and then get it to the ground. Then we're going to put it along the rails of the truck and tie it up just so we get back to the bed of the truck. All right, so here by the DumperDogg, and what you'll see is now the DumperDogg's up in the air, and we have our safety on. But to get to this point, what we had to do is, what I did was I ran the power and ground wire. So what I did was I ran the red positive wire to the solenoid on one side, and then what I did, which I didn't hook this up, I just took it off here for a second, but then I ran the ground to the ground on the motor, which is on the bottom here. So you loosen that nut and you put the ground on. So once I did that, I just pressed up on the controller, we raised it up, and then we put the safety in, then we brought it back down so it's stable. Okay? I use the power from the truck, but you could use a jump pack too to attach it and then press up too. One thing I want to mention is it's not the easiest to get your hands in here, so just be careful. Make sure you always have support. You might have to jack it up a little bit just to get enough room to get your hands to attach it to the solenoid and the ground on the motor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, well, once it's up, okay, and it's secured, what we're going to do is we're going to take it off. There's 3 lag bolts. What we're going to do is we're going to take those off and take it off the skid. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the tailgate off the truck. We're going to put the truck on the lift, and we're going to show you how we mount it, our first starting hole for the DumperDogg, and then we're going to show you the other 2 holes, but we're going to show that on the lift, which is a little bit easier, and how we ran the wires and where to go through the cab with in bed. So here we go. All right, so we're under the truck right now. So we're running the main power wire, and what we're just going to tidy it up a little bit with some ties. Of course, you don't want to be rubbing on anything, so you just want to tie it up nice and neat. Of course, you don't want to go around any moving objects or exhaust. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep it straight and nice and neat. All right, so what we're going to do is just follow a nice line down, make sure about every 12 to 16 inches you want to tie it up so it's stiff. So what we're going to do is then we want to bring it up between the cab of the truck and the bed of the truck, because that's where our access panel is that we got to knock the wire through. So I'm going to feed it up as far as I can, get it up as close as I can, and then we're going to get in the bed and feed it through the hole. Now I'm in the bed. A little uncomfortable for me, but I'm here. But right now what we're going to do is just pop this cap off our access panel, and we should be able to grab the power wires and bring it through to power up the DumperDogg. Oh, here we go. All right, now you just got to search for the power wire. All right, so we're just going to pull the wire through, and I got to admit, I did have a little assistance pushing the wire up a little higher, so my short fingers grabbed it. So I'm just going to pull some out. Again, you don't want to leave that all, the sharp edges. So what we're going to do is, most likely we're going to drill a hole in here too, so it feeds through the plastic. So, but for right now, we're just going to get it through and kind of get everything going. All right, so since we're under the truck, we kind of finished the wire. So the next thing we do is like where we're going to mount the first hole. So it tells us in the instructions, we got to find a cross member, and that's we're going to drill a 5/8 hole. So measuring wise, we found that the cross member is right here. All right, so here's the cross member that we're going to be drilling a 5/8 hole through for the main mounting bolt of the DumperDogg. So there it is, and we're going to go get a 5/8 drill, and we're going to drill that hole so we can mount the DumperDogg. All right, so I got a 5/8 drill with my drill gun, so I'm just going to get it up here. Again, there might be some things in the way, but do the best you can to get a straight hole, because once you go through the cross member, then you have the bed of the, well, the sheet metal of the bed, and then we got to get through that. So here we go. We got the DumperDogg off the skid. There's 3 lag bolts holding it in. We dropped the skid, we got underneath it with the tow motor, and now what we're doing, we're lining it up. Remember, we have a center slot that we want to line up with the hole we drilled in the center of the bed. So right now we're getting close. Again, you do need a little assistance, and we will have our assistant probably hop in the truck and with a drift pin line up the hole so we're in center, and then we're going to try to push it forward so our back of our frame of the DumperDogg is even with the edge of the bed by the tailgate. So moving it a little bit. All right, so we got our 5/8 carriage bolt in the center all the way down. Then again, we used a few people here just to make sure, hey, it's a newer truck, we didn't want to damage it or anything like that. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So what we did, we got it centered, and then what I did, I got it centered at the same point on each side. So I got 5 1/8 on both sides, so we know that's centered. So what I'm going to do now is just I'm going to mark the holes here. Again, there's 2 holes that are over here, one on each side on the inside of the pivot point. So then I'll mark those holes, and then we'll pull the DumperDogg out, and then we will drill the holes, 5/8, maybe here bigger because 5/8 bolt has to go through it. And then we have one more item that has to be attached to it, which is the body up switch. And this goes on both frames, the base of the frame, and then the frame that actually pivots up and down. Again, this is so when the bed is up in the air, we want a light to be on to notify us that, hey, the bed's up in the air, put it down. So bad things could happen. So let's go ahead, we're just going to take it out, and then, again, it's easier to do that body up switch beforehand, but we wanted to mark it. There's other ways that you could mark the holes that has in the directions where you find that cross member, and then you move back, I think 78 inches or 80 inches, but that's in the directions where you can drill the holes like 20 inches apart or something. So let's just take this out now, and we're going to drill those holes, and then we're going to put the body up switch on the frames, and then we're going to go from there. All right, so we got the DumperDogg removed. Now we're just going to drill the holes we marked right here. Again, 5/8 bit. Again, you go a little bit bigger, 21 30 seconds. Or sorry, 21 30 seconds. 5/8. Again, usually the bolt's a little bit, but sometimes you want a little bit more clearance. So again, I'm just going to drill through both sides. Again, I already checked. There's no wires or nothing underneath. You always want to check for wires, harnesses or anything that you might damage. But again, I already checked it out. So what we're going to do is just drill these holes. So. All right, there they are. So we're set up for that. And now let's go put on the body up switch. So the next thing we have to do is our body up switch. So what we have is some angle iron, and we have a lower switch. And then we have a piece that will press down on it. So you have to do this on the passenger side, because on the driver's side you have your brace that holds up the DumperDogg. Also, the DumperDogg has to be all the way down, so these two are pretty close to parallel. So what it's going to look like is one's going to be there and one's going to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp them, mark them, drill them, bolt them. Well, one thing I want to mention, the bolts do not come with this, the mounting bolts, so you have to use your own quarter 20 by about 3/4 to 1 inch long. All right, so I clamped it up, and I'm just going to mark the holes I need. All right, then I'm going to take it off and then drill 1/4 inch holes. All right, so I'm going to start with actually a smaller drill. The drill I'm going to use is a 9/32, but I just want to get these holes started. All right, so I got the holes drilled where I wanted them, and I'm just going to tighten them up, and then I'm going to put our body up switch mounted on the bottom. So I pretty much got the bottom secure. So the top's a little loose. So what I want to do is I want to press down and get this locking nut where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to tighten it up. So it's all the way down. So you want a little bit of play in there. So you don't crush it. So there you go. All right, so here's the harness for the body up switch. So I'm just going to plug it in for right now. And I'm just going to run the wire, up in here somewhere so I can get to it later. Because what our next step now is, and I'll tie it up too, but our next step is we have to take the dumper body, raise it up so we can access our slots in the base of the DumperDogg, and we'll get it in the truck just so we have enough room, get our hand in there and everything. So let's go get the DumperDogg inside. All right, so again, you need 2 people, to put, just for safety and ease of installation, you need 2 people. So I'm bringing the tow motor in. We got Logan Dog in front, lining it up with a drift pin, and we just have to just go in a little bit further, and then we're going to drop that 5/8 carriage bolt in that large slot up front of the DumperDogg. So here we go. We got the DumperDogg in. Now what we do is you got to light up these back holes to the holes that we drilled. Like I said, it's going to be off a little bit, so you might have to adjust it. Of course, drift pin always helps with that. It's a wonderful tool. Oh, wow, that was lucky. So yeah, just drop right in. I already did this other one on this side. So now what we do is go underneath the truck, put a washer and a nut, tie it down, and then next thing we'll do is we'll drop the DumperDogg and make sure it's operational. So what we're gonna do now is get the washer and nut on the both bolts. So I'm just gonna feed it up there. Again, a lot of these trucks, a lot of these mountings are truck specific. Sometimes you might want to bring the spare tire down just to get access or access panel on this one. Well, if you see the nut right there, we're gonna tighten those up on each side. Get this thing tightened down. All right, so we're in the cab now, and what we're doing is, well, what I did was I ran the body up switch wire from the back, in the bed, down the frame, and and then up into the cab. The wire is real small, so we have right here the harness, but there's a few other things that come with it. So you have a black wire with an eyelet on it. All right, that's going to be your ground. So your ground wire, which is black, is going to go to the black wire on the light. Okay, and we give you little connectors. And then the red wire is going to go to the brown wire that's on the main harness. So black to black, and then red to brown. Then there's one more wire over here, and it's brown and red. That is going to go to a 12-volt power source. So when you turn your key on, the light will come on. So again, truck specific, you want to find something in the fuse box where you're going to take that positive wire to. But we like to have it as a switch power. All right, and then you want to ask your customer, or where do you want to put this light? You really want it so it's visible. The visible light, so you see it, so you know that your bed's up or down. So, I level, but again, these trucks, they're so expensive nowadays, you don't want to drill a hole somewhere. Someone might put a bracket and put a light somewhere. Here's a panel, you probably could drill a hole. Again, there's options. So you just want to find the best options to mount the hole. And then once you mount it, you just drill a hole, and this pops right in, and then we have the little sticker that says body up on it. And that's about it. So let's go test this thing out. We're out here on location. Here's the big test. Whatever we did inside, mounting it, electrical, everything, does it all work? But of course, it will, because we tried it inside first. So here's our controller. Okay, pretty simple. There's up and down. So go up. And what's nice about the DumperDogg, it'll go to a 45-degree angle, and it will make sure everything slides down and everything comes right out of the bed. As you see, it goes pretty high. Again, now I like to bring it down. So on our DumperDogg, it's power up and power down. So the motor will run, it's just not gravity down. So we're actually bringing it down forcefully. And once it hits, you stop. You don't keep running so the motor doesn't burn up. So what's also nice about this controller is like a little magnet. It sticks on, of course, steel. Yep, that's still steel. So you have it right here all the time. But one thing, this controller is not weatherproof. I'm sorry, it's not waterproof. So it can't sit outside all the time in soaking rain. There is a quick release right here. In fact, you might want to take this off at night, but then you just release it and you put it in your cab, so it's safe. So just 4 little quick pins. And I'm just going to tighten it up. Again, a lot of people, you can put it in many different locations. Let's go back to the back here. We'll talk about the tailgate a little bit. So we have the tailgate. What's nice is we have 4 pins. All the tailgates for all of our DumperDoggs are the same. So what you want to do, you can do it a couple different ways. So we have the chains here too, and there's locking positions for the chain. Okay, so if I want to dump it traditionally, what I want to do, I'll bring it down. And then you just put the chain on where you want it to be. I just do this for a safety one. You really only need one. All right, so you can dump it like this. One thing I want to let some people know is, I get some calls on this. If you do have a hitch that sticks out, you might want to remove it, because once this is dumped, your tailgate might catch on that hitch and it'll bend the frame up. So be careful, make sure the hitch is not going to be touching the frame or the tailgate. So the next thing we're going to do is, so you can dump it like this, you can take it off, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to put it back up. Put the pins back in. Okay, then if you want to dump it slowly, so when you raise it up, it'll control the dump as you raise it up. So as you raise it up, it'll dump nice and slow. So you also control it too, again, with the chains. Say you only wanted to open up a certain amount. So you can keep it like this with the chains. So say you're dumping gravel or something, you want to spread it, this is the way you would want to go. So you just dump it slowly on the ground. So now we'll talk about the hydraulics. I just jumped in here, our DumperDogg's up, but the first thing we have to do is make sure you're safe. So we do have our safety bar that we're going to raise up here. So if you're working underneath here, you want to have this up and safe, okay? So we're going to talk about our hydraulics a little bit. So here's our hydraulic power unit. It has two valves, one's up, one's down. Really two hoses, one goes up, one goes down. A reservoir. And then here's our body up switch that we've seen up here too. That's about it. One thing I want to talk about though is, again, this is a truck specific mounting, but we do have these brackets here. They're very versatile. What you want to do, and if you say you have something you can't mount, it has hooks on it that you can find that cross member, wherever you can, or sometimes you might have to put it like this and you have holes in the side, you got to drill holes. So these are other options that you can use if you can't find, there's a lot of stuff underneath the bed, gas tank, stuff like that, so you might want to use these too. So I'm going to throw that out to you guys. So other than that, you can see our cylinder, how it's wedged. We'll get a shot of it for you guys going up and down from inside. And I'm just going to go to the safety bar. So here we come down. All right, so there you have the little inner workings of our DumperDogg, but now let's go get a pile of mulch and let's go dump it. Again, what's nice is the cord's pretty long too, so I can come all the way in the back and actually watch what's happening. So. All right, now once I get it pretty much all of it out almost, I'm just going to drive forward a little bit. Well, there you have it. This is how you take your pickup truck and make it into a dump body or a dump truck. So, thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. Also, all the accessories, we do have that extra video for you to watch to learn how to install all the extra, sideboards, tarp, and the window protector. First thing though, like, subscribe, become part of that SnowDogg family. Also, if you have any questions, let us know. Give us a call, email us. Make sure you check out our website, buyersproducts.com. Now go buy a dog and dump some dirt.